I hope he won't sell us to some drug trafficker or what lah.
We're finally here at Sagrada Familia. The entrance and everything else was very smooth. Got my audio guide. There's 7 points. Here outside we've got 1, 2, 3. I'm so excited.
I'm excited also, but it's very hot outside here. Very hot.
When Antoni Gaudi was commissioned to continue the building works of the Sagrada Familia, he was 31 years of age. With the passing of years, he became more and more knowledgeable about religion, whilst his faith stronger by the day. The exterior of the basilica represents the church by means of the apostles, the evangelists, the Virgin, and saints. As I walk in, I forget I'm in a place of worship. There is so much intricacies to the place, so I'm glad I had an audio guide to take me through each step of the way. The 4 columns on the crossing are adorned with symbols of the evangelists Luke, Mark, Matthew, and John. I marvel at the different colored stained glass that allows natural light to seep into the basilica. Sagrada Familia takes me back to Sunday school as I try to remember in vain the scriptures and what these symbolic details represents in the Bible. Nature and spirituality are entwined beautifully in his artistry, and just when we get too visually comfortable, there are sculptures like the St. George that jolts the system. The 7 doors are decorated with phrases from the Christian's Lord Prayer and associated with sacraments that Catholics receive throughout their lives. We make our way back outside to see a different facade of the building, which is equally as sombering yet delightful to view as a spectator of art. I hope someday I'll be able to take Mum here, as I know she would appreciate this place just as much. While admiring more sculptural work, I'm curious with the series of numbers inside a square and wonder what they mean. I find out later that this is the magic constant of the square.
You know, I cried coming in. I think it's just
Unbelievable.
there's no actual words to describe my thoughts right now, because I understand how sacred a place of worship is, being Catholic and now a Muslim. This takes on a different level altogether, because every single piece of design has been thought well of, and it has everything about the Lord in each of its description. I can go round and round and round. There's actually Gaudi's body laid to rest at the crypt, but it's only you can only view it during Mass time, which is in the evening or early morning. This is the last stop where you can find out a little bit more about the history behind the whole cathedral, the basilica, and slightly a little bit about Gaudi himself. It's interesting to shoot through all this, and then I think you get a deeper appreciation when you go to his house, which is now a museum where he used to live.
The central tower will reach 170 meters tall. Gaudi believed that nothing man-made should ever be higher than God's work, so the ultimate height will be 1 meter less than Montjuic, or Jewish Mountain, the highest point in Barcelona. My next stop was to understand better the genius behind these beautiful works. It was a long, hot walk up, but I was determined to get there.
This is the Gaudi House Museum. This is where he lived. This whole place was commissioned to him by his good friend Guell, that's why it's called Park Guell, to be made into residential area. But it was only his house, which is the show house, that he was the only resident of this place. The project didn't quite go through, and now this Gaudi house, his home, is a museum.
Gaudi moved here in 1906 and lived with his father and niece. We don't know whether Gaudi decorated the house, but we do know that he was very spiritual and was a man of faith. Even though he had a prayer room, he spent most of his devotion in his bedroom. He led a frugal life, so much so, on the day of his unfateful accident, people assumed he was homeless. Many think this home was designed by the man himself, but surprisingly, it was not. This historic home museum houses a collection of furniture and objects designed by Gaudi and consists of 4 floors.
But you mustn't forget the nuns that helped him.
The Carmelite sisters, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he had a nunnery action going on?
Friends remember him as a sweet man. Some will remember his flaring temper. But he definitely had a revolutionary mind. As we left the home he last kept, we made our way to explore the rest of the park inspired by the 19th century British Garden City movement. Park Guell is perched on the hills which surround the city and offers fantastic views. Bursting with colour, exotic forms, figures and symbols, the park separates the grey mundane city from the ideal urban development envisioned by Gaudi. There are no straight lines at the park, and he favoured slanted lines or organic curves which mimics objects like trees, shells, plants, rock and wildlife. Still enthralled by the eclectic designs of this modernist architecture, we made our way back to the city to see more of his work.
You find here?
Casa Batlo, Gaudi.
What do you think? Shall we?
Well, let's see if it's still open.
Unfortunately, we couldn't go into Casa Batlo, but it was still impressive to soak up the facade he renovated back in 1904. We did, however, manage to get tickets for the La Pedrera night experience.
Wow, Mama. We are at the La Pedrera.
For some reason,
Well, actually, it's not we are not at the La Pedrera. We are at La Pedrera. La and the is the same thing.
okay.
Okay.
Alah,
Sorry.
potong lah you.
Okay.
I was just about to say how the pictures and the videos that we see online on the website, normally it's the other way around, where we see it, we're like, oh my god, we have to go there. And then when you go, okay. But for this one, the pictures and the videos that we see online, compared to you seeing it live in person, this is more beautiful. The pictures and videos don't do justice to what the beauty and breathtaking views are when you're here.
They have first underground car park in Barcelona.
So they would drive their car here so that they can purposely show it to the other tenants in this apartment. Oh, look at me, I'm so rich, I'm driving the newest car. It's basically for them to brag. It's their bragging rights.
So they park down there, they go down here. This where the parking. Oh shit, man. Dia ni gila sia. Dia gila. He got so much time.
What does this space remind you? All this area. So if it is a skeleton, again, we would find these organic shapes that are so common in Gaudi's architecture. Would you have liked it a century ago? Yes?
Even more.
Said it was like a birthday cake with lots of candles. Yes, even a settling garage. Okay. Then they even gave it a nickname, La Pedrera. La Pedrera comes from pedra, which in Catalan means stone. So literally, they were calling this building the quarry. You know, that site in the mountain where you pick the stone in order to create a sculpture, for example. So, the quarry. So as you may imagine, Milad family wasn't happy at all. Okay, they didn't want to pay Gaudi. However, they came very quickly to their apartment, the main floor. Why? Well, they owned a 35 rooms apartment, the hanging level. How does it work? Well, Gaudi took a chain and fixed it from both sides. Then, in the middle of this chain, he said small sandbag. The weight of this sandbag was equivalent to the weight that the future arch would be supporting. Okay? So he repeated this very same process with lots of chains, and when he finished, he took the model and hung it from the ceiling. Then he set a mirror under the model in order to obtain a 3D image of the future building he was going to create. Okay? Actually, Gaudi explained St. George legend in the facade. So if you're not familiar with this little story, I will tell you, okay? I will explain it to you very briefly, I promise. So, once upon a time, okay, there was a dragon eating every animal and every person he found in a little kingdom. So, the victims' bones, all of them, they are at the basement of the house. That's why we also call this building like the House of the Bones. We love nicknames here in Barcelona, right? Then, well, the day arrived that the princess was going to be eaten by the dragon. The very moment the dragon opened his mouth, St. George appeared, okay? And of course, he killed the dragon with his sword. And the sword is the chimney of the house. Then from the dragon's blood, a red rose appeared, okay? And St. George took it and gave it to the princess. And here, in this house, this cute rose is this tiny balcony, the one that is in the last floor, okay? That cute balcony. He used all the money to build Sagrada Familia, and he decided this house, La Pedrera, was the last civil work he would do. And he devoted completely to Sagrada Familia. Then when he died, Rose, Mrs. Mila, she threw all the furniture to the street, okay? She built straight walls in her apartment, and she used a French-style furniture.
Well, this is how exactly I pictured it. We eat tapas at the Passage de Gracia in front of a Gaudi house, Casa Batlló. Just tastes better and expensive. Oh, I think you got your chili there, no?
I've got my olives and my pepper, jalapeno, and my anchovies. I'm not sure how I'm gonna eat this. Let's start with the olives.
Boleh kita try. Rasa macam olive. Hot chocolate, Mama. Nanti Milo.
Adakah ini saya punya hot chocolate diservekan dalam gelas seumpama ini? Sepatutnya dia dalam satu cup dan cawan seperti yang diservekan melalui kopi anda.
The next day, we made our way to our meeting point to catch up with an old pal who was also in Spain with his wife.
So we're here in the Santa Catarina market.
Oh, so why is this funky smell? Oh,
The smell of, yeah, it's a market. And it seems we're gonna meet up with our buddy Raziv and Jean.
that's right.
I don't know what he's gonna do. I hope he won't sell us off.
What I do know is it's gonna be the best of the world.
For sure.
Very good.
Very good.
What's
up, brother? Good, man. I'm good. So what's going on now? What's going on right now?
I don't know, man. Right now we just had this like market, and then like tengok semua tengah holiday.
Okay.
So macam tak adalah chill sangat, but this is more like local. Sebab sana macam gila banyak orang.
Okay.
So yeah.
Why is it so hot, man?
I don't
know. Being KL.
Shit, man.
Yeah,
exactly. It's worse than KL.
Going on,
Can there's oh no, I'm just checking if they can open the oysters dekat sini.
Oysters.
And what? Can there's some kemas con fresca. Fresca. Oyster. Tienes escalopes?
No, escalope.
Escalope, no. Vale. Oysters. You guys want one?
For sure.
Yes, let's do it. Cuatro, por favor.
Igual.
Viva España, man.
Foodie tradition dictates only eating wild oysters in months with the letter R, but this was in August. Tastes just as good to me.
Okay, so sekarang tengah panas. Kalau kau nak minum, kau jadi gila tau.
Yes,
so
gila.
kau punya opening shot, kau shot oyster. Everybody in?
Yang penting, kita wifi dulu.
Ni Kota Raya style makan dekat tepi kedai orang.
Okay. Nice seeing you guys, and we are going to have a fantastic time.
Yes, let's do this.
Cheers.
Mine didn't shock properly.
Oh my god, it's so good. So good. Short press. So good.
Straight from the Mediterranean.
Assalamualaikum, selamat sejahtera. Kita baru saja minum oyster, makan oyster. Dan sekarang kita nak pergi minum air dekat X Bar.
Alright.
So, it's a really cool
X-rated?
place. X, yes. Dengan kau semua X-rated.
Alright, I love it. Tapi dia X-rated yang halal.
Ya. Ni yang HD boleh mati tu.
Yes. Dia mati kau.
Dia kalau tak mati kau tak boleh buat apa.
Potong jari lah.
Exactly.
Potong jari kalau tak mati.
Exactly. Potong jari ada. Kalau kau tengah baling X tu kena kepala kau, walau alam tak tahu.
Yes.
So you better be careful. But yeah, it's something fun to do in Barcelona, and I've never done it as well. I just thought, like, you know, since you guys are here, let's fucking do it.
Yes. I don't know where this Razif is going to bring us. I hope he won't sell us to some drug trafficker or what lah. You guys here?
Hello, yes, we are. Barcelona X Road.
Okay.
So we're playing a game now. Go, throw.
Game of Thrones.
So we're playing a game. This is our number card. So Joe goes first, you go first, and then Jin, and then Daphne, and then myself. And we're playing a game called 21. So
Kau tinggal 21?
first person to 21 wins.
Alright.
Right now you got 3 points already.
Okay, brothers.
Right.
Woi, jangan kasih malu orang Sabah kau ni.
I've always been competitive in sports. This is going to be a breeze.
Oh, this very kadazan, not so kadazan.
Throw an axe or a sumpit or something. Right? Oh, okay, yeah. Aramaiti, yeah. Aramaiti.
Okay, I suck.
I don't want the anger.
He needs to channel his aggression.
Need some water, liquid.
No, he needs, yeah.
What will that be?
1 point, right? 1 point.
Ish, minta puji. While the rest continued axing each other, I took a stroll around their rustic and wooden place. The staff was friendly and they do their best to make sure you accomplish a decent shot at the game.
The only thing different with this one is like at the last moment you have to flick it, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Flick.
exactly. You have to show the wood where you have to go. So do a half spin and half more, okay?
We are now having our nightcap of hot chocolate, coffee, as well as desserts. Right here where we stay, just stone throw away. Very good. This is Daphne Iking's channel, but basically it revolves around my family, and if you enjoy watching our videos,
Press the subscribe button, please.
So you guys done all the part, huh?